Hey guys, it's Crazy Comic Lady, and these are actually some videos that I recorded back in 2018, and I actually uploaded them to my second YouTube channel. So I'm not sure if many people actually knew that in 2018 I set up a second YouTube channel so that I could experiment with kind of filming different types of art content. So a lot of it was art vlogs and mostly focusing on my original Mushroom Forest Fairy story and how I was working on pages from my book and things like that. So anyway, these videos were uploaded onto that account back when I actually had the option of creating polls on my DeviantArt account because I'd paid for the upgraded subscription, whatever it was called, so I could have all the extra features in that year. So anyway, I was doing these polls just to make it a bit more interesting and have people decide what cosplays to put my OC in. So anyway, I thought I'd just share these with you and also use this video as a chance to explain why I'm not actually making art content anymore. Because I did touch on it a bit during my whip and chat, but I thought maybe a designated video would be easier for you guys to understand a bit about my decision to take my YouTube channel in a more crafting direction rather than an art channel anymore. So I received this really lovely comment from a subscriber, and they were such a sweet comment, and it was very supportive. Also asking about my art content, my speed paints, and everything that I used to do, and asking if that's something I would go back to. I thought about it after that comment. I kind of spent a long time thinking about the comment, and I ended up not having a good night's sleep because I kept thinking of, oh, well, I could do this, or I could do this series of art videos, or maybe I could try doing that again, or change my whip and chat so that sometimes they're diamond painting and sometimes they're working on digital art on my fairy book. Anyway, it was kind of going around in my head. I got a bad night's sleep, and then the next day I woke up and I was feeling really anxious about it because just the thought of going back to making art content for YouTube was just triggering my anxiety and depression really badly. And I kept kind of thinking, well, I could do this or I could do that. And basically I turned to myself and said, Steph, what are you doing? There's a very valid reason why you walked away from making art content for YouTube. And some of it is actually medical because I mentioned that I've got a lot of health issues. My Ehlers-Danlos syndrome that I've suffered from actually really badly affects my hands and my dexterity and my fingers and everything. So drawing for anything more than like 20 minutes now is actually extremely painful. And it typically tends to trigger the depression because then I can't do as much as I'd like. I'm not enjoying the process and it's hurting too much. So that was one reason. Another reason was if you've made speed paint videos before and had an art YouTube channel, you'll probably know the sheer amount of hours that goes into creating a 3-minute video for YouTube. So typically those speed paints that I used to do back in the olden days, they take anywhere from between 5 to 12 hours to sketch, ink, colour, record, edit, upload. And that is an awful lot of time to invest for a 3-minute long video. So my channel isn't monetized anymore, so I'm not getting any ad revenue or anything like that. And it just kind of felt not worth the sheer amount of time that it takes to put out this kind of content now, especially when I mean, everyone suffers with trolls and people leaving negative comments and things like that. But when you've spent so long trying to put a video together that you're hoping people are going to enjoy, and you get a lot of negative criticism on it and dislikes and things like that, art can be an extremely personal thing to people. For me, it's an extremely personal thing, my art. And it wasn't doing my mental health any good trying to deal with these kind of negative feedbacks that I was getting. After I actually stopped uploading, I actually got quite a funny troll comment saying, "I'm so glad you stopped uploading videos. I really hated your art style." And I was like, okay, thank you for. I didn't reply to it, but I was like, okay, thank you. You still took the time to watch the video and leave a hurtful comment, so I guess yay me. All publicity is good publicity, right? But anyway, it's just not something now that I enjoy, because it's not a lack of motivation, it's a lack of physical ability and emotional ability, and it's not worth damaging my mental health for the sake of making content that I literally just don't enjoy making anymore. So I made the decision to walk away from my YouTube for a long time. And I figured when I came back and I started uploading diamond painting stuff, I knew there'd be some people that wouldn't be too on board with it, because it is a complete change, complete revamp of my channel. I'm going in a very different direction now. Because for a long time I just didn't draw. For even to this day, it's been over 3 years now, I haven't really picked up a pencil and really drawn anything very much now, and that's okay. For a very long time I was very, very sad that a part of me had almost gone, because for so long I defined myself by my art. I'm an art. I done art since I was a child. I did art at school, I did art at college, I did art at university, I made comics, I worked for a comic book company, I've had the YouTube channel, I did the commissions, and I did my own book. And I feel like, it's okay that I can walk away from that now. For a long time I didn't feel like, I didn't know who I was without my art, when I just couldn't draw and do it anymore. So it took me probably 3 years until I found this diamond painting craft to kind of know, who am I without my art. And I think it's important that everyone should know as well that your art, or whatever creative content you're putting out to the world, it doesn't have to define who you are, because it doesn't have to be the thing that gives you value, because you're valued, you're appreciated, you're enough just being who you are. And it took me a long time to kind of realize, who am I without my art, and that's okay. I'm okay with not doing the art anymore. I've come to terms with doing that, and it's not worth damaging my mental health and triggering these anxiety panic attacks and depression really anymore. It's not worth it. This year especially, I've been really trying to put my mental health kind of first and foremost. I want to work on that and try and be more comfortable with myself and handling my emotions in a better way, and not being so quick for things to affect me. And coming back to YouTube now, I really want my channel to kind of feel like a safe, open place, because a lot of those videos I was uploading over the years, I was struggling a lot with my mental health, especially in, I think it was 2013 or 14, where I was actually hospitalized because of my mental health. And the way that YouTube was, at least back then, it was very much, you strap on your happy face, you record a video and do the voiceover, and you kind of pretend everything's happy and fine and jolly, and that's what you're doing. And that's not where I want to go. That's not the direction I want to go in anymore. I want to be able to be open and honest and share things with you guys. So if anyone out there is feeling in a dark place and not managing to cope very well with things, I just want you to know that you are valued. You're deeply valued and appreciated, especially by me. If you're listening and have made it this far into the video and you're still listening to me, you're appreciated. I mean, every view that I get, it means the world to me. So you matter, and I want everyone to feel that you're not alone, no matter how bad things are and how you're feeling. We're there with you, and I appreciate you. And if you want to leave a comment and tell me how you're feeling, I'm not necessarily going to be able to say the right thing or make things better or you feel better, but I can at least be here to give you cyber hugs and let you know that you are valued and you matter. It doesn't have to be all about the content you put up or the work that you do, because I mean, in this day and age, we're so driven by the likes on our posts on places like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, that... Oh, I just had a doggy visitor who's come and see me. Yeah, we're in a society now where that seems like the only way we can validate ourselves and feel validation is through likes on social media platforms. It's okay for that not to be the way you go. I'm not sure if I'm making much sense, but it doesn't have to be the thing that drives you. I mean, if you get 2 views on your YouTube channel or something, those are 2 views. You might have reached those 2 people and made a difference in their day. You never know. Because, I mean, I've always been, I struggle as well, but I like to, if I'm going out with the dog or anything, I will often just, even if I'm having a really bad day, I will just smile and nod at strangers. And sometimes they'll smile back and sometimes they won't. But when they do smile back, it kind of brightens my day. It's just that one little tiny act. And it's enough to make me feel a bit better because, you know, someone saw and they appreciated that I smiled at them and they smiled back. And sometimes if I've got the dog, I'll smile at people and then people will just stop and start talking to me. I had this one woman, this old lady once, I was walking past a bus stop and we were talking about dogs because my dog went to say hello. And she was really fascinating. She had 2 different coloured eyes. I'd never seen that in person before. But I stopped and I just chatted with her till her bus came, and she really opened up and she was telling me how she'd lost almost all of her family and she didn't have any close friends left anymore. It was just literally just her, and she was trying to get out to just to keep getting out and keep perhaps talk to people kind of thing. And when she got on the bus and everything, she said thank you for me just stopping and talking to her. So you never know how just like the smallest act can really make a difference without you even realizing that it's made a difference. So I just wanted to really kind of point out that you are valued, and I want this to be a safe space where we can be open and we can talk about mental health issues, because I don't want to keep it a secret, and I don't want to have to put on my happy game face and pretend that, you know, oh, I've made this piece of art, it's so good, blah blah blah. And I have been accused in the past of sounding fake on my videos, and that comment stuck with me because, yeah, those early years of my YouTube videos, it was very fake. I wasn't talking about what was going on in my life or ending up in hospital while I had my YouTube channel and everything. And it's still not something I'm massively comfortable about talking about and sharing. But I think over the last 3 years, mental health has become more aware and people are a lot less judgmental as they were. So, and I know artists in particular and writers, creative people, do often tend to suffer with their anxiety and their depression. And yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing to manage. And it's okay to feel what you're feeling. You don't ever have to force yourself to put on a happy face. I mean, I often do it still when I'm going out to see people I don't know very well. But, you know, you don't have to feel that way here on my channel. So anyway, I hope that helped a little bit with clearing up where my kind of head is at the moment. So I don't want to create content that I'm not enjoying, or that's causing stress or anxiety and depression and things like that, because you'll be able to tell. If I think you can usually tell with creators when they're kind of trying to force it, and I don't want to. I just don't want to do that kind of content anymore. I was thinking, even before I got that comment mentioning about my my old art, my old videos and stuff, I was sort of thinking about getting out my old sketchbooks, because I started a series years ago on my channel called My Old Art, and I started from the age of 6, and I think that video series got up to about age 15. So there's still about 20 years worth of sketchbooks that I can go through if I perhaps feel like a trip down memory lane, because a lot of these sketchbooks I haven't opened for over a decade. I can't remember what's in them. So that might be something that I might perhaps go back to occasionally in terms of art content, but it won't be, my channel won't be really predominantly an art channel anymore. It is moving more in the crafting direction because it's just something I really enjoy. It really takes my mind off things that are happening, because you can just, it's really mindless. You're literally just picking up a diamond, putting it down. You're not having to overwork your brain or think or worry. You're just placing diamonds and listening to podcasts. And I actually listen to an awful lot of other people's whip chats, especially the crafter Diamonds and Washi. Katie, her name is. Her videos, they were what actually inspired me to to transition into making a crafting channel, because she shared so openly about her struggles with anxiety and depression and mental health. And I could really relate to so much of the things that she was saying. And it did help me feel not alone. I could work on my diamond paste paintings. I was listening to all of her whip and chats in order. She's been making them for, what, 2.5 years or something at this point. So it took me about 4 months now to finally catch up with all of her videos. And it's felt like I've actually been part of her life for the last 3 years, and learning about her kids and her family and her struggles. And it's really helped me to feel more able to be open myself and share content with you again, and content that I'm really enjoying. That's the main thing. The diamond painting is something I'm really enjoying. I can enjoy the art, I can enjoy the process, it's relaxing, and at the end you've got a really pretty sparkly picture. I recently framed one actually, that you can just admire and not have to have had all the stress and the anxiety and is this looking right? Am I going to mess up the colouring? I hate colouring, which is ironic considering my YouTube was a predominantly a speed paint channel, but I actually hate colouring. I have never liked colouring, painting, any of that. I prefer coloured pencils. If I had to choose a medium, it would be coloured pencils over like markers or paints. Mainly the paint thing is because even from going back 15 years, I would get terrible problems with my shoulder. So that's why, like before I found markers, I used to do everything in acrylic paint. And that's something that long ago I stopped being able to do because of my subluxing shoulder, which was fine because markers were quick and easy. And I find it more relaxing to do coloured pencil artwork. Or I did. I haven't. Occasionally I will pick up my sketchbook and I'll do the occasional realistic animal or something, but we're talking like a few times a year, not every single day like I used to for the majority of my I guess my childhood, my adolescence, my 20s. So anyway, I just hope that kind of makes sense to anyone, and I hope people aren't too disappointed about the lack of art videos. But I thought, it's been 3 years since I was uploading regularly on any of my 2 YouTube channels or on Instagram or anything. I can at this point I can just revamp the channel, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who just haven't watched my videos for a very long time. So I went into it thinking, yeah, this is just gonna be me starting over from scratch. That's cool. If I get like 3 people view my videos, or even 1 person view my video, that's enough, because I'm just enjoying the process of making the content. And it's a community that I found really warm and welcoming so far. So I've done a couple of, one diamond painting event, and I've been quite active in the diamond painting Facebook groups, and it just seems like a much more, I guess, chilled out, no pressure sort of community and environment. And there's not this pressure to need to create something perfect and to succeed. I mean, the only thing you have to really worry about with diamond painting is how straight are the lines and how quickly can I get through them, because my stash is becoming overwhelmingly big, which is sadly what's happening, because I have been a little bit obsessive. When I find a new hobby, I tend to throw myself all in, and it's just been so long since I've had a creative passion. I haven't had that since I finished working on my Mushroom Forest Fairy book at the end of 2019, because I took quite a long break from that, because after I'd finished that first book, after it taking 15 months or something of working on it every single day, I wanted to do some different stuff. So I started doing a challenge, a Final Fantasy drawing challenge that my friend Saito and I had created years ago, along with Verliet on YouTube. So I actually started doing that because 2020 was going to be the release of the new Final Fantasy game, the remake of Final Fantasy VII, which was one of my all-time favourite games. So I started doing that, and I started doing some, the writing of book 2, part 2 of my Mushroom Forest Fairy book, and that was coming along really well. And then as soon as, lockdown happened, that's when all my art stuff just left. My art creativity seemed to dry up overnight, and I just don't enjoy it. I was no longer finding the enjoyment. Even when I was attending people's live streams, sometimes I'd be sitting there and just not even talking in the chat, and then I would just start coming over feeling sad because everyone's working on something they're passionate about. They're talking about art, they're enjoying it, and I'm sitting here with a sketchbook in front of me, going, I can't even put down a single line. I don't know what was going on. It was like the worst case of art block that I kept thinking, it'll get better, it'll get better. When things settle down with the pandemic, things will get better, or when it's summer, things will be better, because my health is always affected by the winter months. So, I mean, when I was working on my Mushroom Forest Fairy book for as long as I did, I knew I was getting to the end of my art journey then, because I'd be working on that, and then when I stopped, I would have to go and get an ice pack out of the freezer just to put on my hand because my fingers were so swollen up from doing all the fine art, line art details and everything like that. And yeah, that was more of a passion project. So that's what I completely devoted 2019 was literally just to that project, because I wanted to have that achieved so that I could have something to look back on when my hands got to a point that I couldn't draw anymore and go, I achieved that, I did that, well done me. You know, I just wanted like one final hurrah, I guess, because I knew I've known for a long time that my health would get to the point where I couldn't draw the way I used to. I've known that was coming for a while. But anyway, I'm not trying to make it. I don't want this the speed paint video to be too down and too depressing. But yeah, I just thought I'd fill you on why I made my decision to take my channel in the direction that I have. And you can watch some of my old speed paints of Portobello in all of her different cosplay outfits. So it was really fun putting up these polls at the time. So every week there'd be a different poll where people could vote on what outfit should I draw her in this week. So it's great fun. Of one, I'm drawing on my OCs, which is something that was very important to me, and I get to create fun new outfits, because that's something I've always loved, is creating outfits for characters. I've always really enjoyed that, or I used to really enjoy that anyway, I should say. But yeah, it's kind of been a bit of a blast from the past rewatching these videos. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, I hope this video was not too down and depressing for you. And once again, just so you know, you're not alone. No matter what you're feeling, you're not alone. I'm here. Might not be able to help, but I'm here, and I can sympathise with the hard times. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and for understanding why I'm changing direction with my art the way I am. And I'll see you all when I see you. Bye, guys.